After debriefing from our game against Tennessee, I thought we did several great things, but also we didn't play a complete game. That second half, again, hurt us when it came down to drawing fouls. We didn't do a great job at all. Whenever teams are on a run, especially on the road, you have to be able to negate not having field goal opportunities with free throw attempts, and that would at least negate their pressure and at least slow down some runs. And I don't think we did that well. The end of 2 minutes, I thought we had an excellent 2 minute drill. My staff, including our players, executed it to a T. We pride ourselves on working on situations. As we know, situations are going to be an important part of finishing games in the month of February, but also hopefully in March. And we were able to execute that. So I am pleased.
Hey, Dennis, I want to ask you about DeAndre Golson. When you're in the Horizon League and playing and coaching against him, what stood out about him that you wanted to bring him aboard once he's in the portal, and just his ability to make tough shots? Just how unique is that in today's game?
Well, I'll say this to you. Even before the Horizon League, DeAndre Golson was supposed to be at Cleveland State. I recruited him to come in with Demoy Hodge as our wings, and he decided to go elsewhere. So in the back of his mind, throughout his tenure, he had an excellent Horizon League career, but he did see what we were able to accomplish, and those same things that I spoke to him about accomplishing during that time, he saw us do it. And when you look from afar at that, you still have a mutual respect. You still have the mutual friends, and being a kid that grew up in Gary, Indiana, and parents grew up in Chicago, you have mutual people that you know. Dre Golson, I've always had confidence in as it relates to his skills and talents. And he was a kid that I thought one day I would coach, and the opportunity presented itself. When he put his name in the portal, unfortunately, Pat Baldwin got fired. And I started the recruiting process with him when I was at Cleveland State. I didn't have plans on leaving Cleveland State, and DeAndre Golson was thinking about transferring to Cleveland State. So that confidence comes well before that. What I saw in him as a player was a kid that's very confident, a kid that does not lack, character, a kid that was a great teammate, a kid that wanted to be the very best he could be. I saw his path at Kent State take him to JUCO, and I saw and watched his JUCO path evolve into, his decision to go to Milwaukee. I'm thankful that he believed in me. We've had several deep conversations when he did put his name in the portal, and that evolved into a respect where he had no doubt he wanted to play for me. Whether it was at Cleveland State and obviously here at Mizzou.
Thanks.
Dennis, kind of following up on what Dave asked, he mentioned degree of difficulty in some shots, but DeAndre has shown this inherent ability to come up in the clutch. I mean, is there such a thing as a player who has a clutch gene, or is able to block out the pressure in situations like that and have success?
Yeah, a kid that has been counted out. Dre has been counted out his entire life. He's a kid that is here by obviously the man upstairs, but also his support system, his family, his coaches back home who poured into him, his previous coaching staff, even at Milwaukee. He and Pat Baldwin, Paris Parham, who's now an assistant at DePaul, they have great relationships with him. And Dre is a young man that I am extremely proud of, but a young man that has the level of confidence because of the people that pour confidence in him as he's grown up, but also throughout the ups and downs that he may have had in college. He's a unique kid in his own right, and he started college at a very, very young age. And, he didn't have success early, but his process is one that, allowed him his own journey, and he was able to evolve, grow, mature during the down times and become who he is now. And I'm thankful that he decided to play for us. But when you look at a kid that's still sacrificing what he's sacrificing, he's only playing 20 minutes a game. but his player efficiency rating is very high compared to what people may think. To be able to average 10 points a game at this level with only 20 minutes, you multiply everything by 2. He's a kid that's player efficiency wise averaging 20 plus points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. And that's essentially what I wanted him to understand. He's more of an effective player than some empty possessions. It's tough and difficult to play 40 minutes a game, and that's what he was logging over at Milwaukee. But also there were gaps that presented itself where he was fatigued. And he's just giving his very best now. It may not be perfect. No one is perfect on that court, but he gives us his very best. And he's going to go down as one of the toughest shot makers at Mizzou in this short time compared to what he was able to do. UCF game was very important, and obviously being able to have a signature win at Tennessee, who is the #1 defensive team in the country, quad 1 win on the road, that says a lot. And I'm thankful that our guys believe in him. I'm thankful that he believes in us.
Coach, I noticed after DeAndre's game winner, you exuded this calm celebration. In moments where it's easy to get swept up by emotion as a coach, not just a game winner, but maybe a bad foul call or a foul call you don't agree with, how are you able to manage and control your emotion, and what kind of effect does it have on your team?
Well, I have a high level of emotional intelligence. I've been through tougher things in my childhood. I've been through tougher things in my life. The game of basketball is a environment that we all are connected with, whether it's the opponents that we face or even the people that we stand on the same team as in our locker room. I think we all look at it as opportunities to build memories. But what it says is 20 years from now, how will I be remembered as a leader? And ultimately, I want to be able to be someone that our guys replicate when it's tough, when life squeezes them, when it's tough, when situations arise, that they can navigate whatever they need to navigate to get to the other side of it. And sometimes, you lose your head. And I don't ever coach that way. I don't talk that way. I don't present myself that way. It was a big game, and I thought I shared what I thought needed to be shared at the end of the game, simply because our guys deserved it. No one thought we were going to win. No one, except for ourselves. We knew we would. And I want that confidence to be able, through ups and downs, there's so many decisions to be made, many ups and downs in the game. And you're required as a leader to stay the course. And ultimately, the reflection that your guys see when they look at you is what I want them to go out and produce. And they've done that, and they will continue to do that. And it's just what I've been accustomed to doing. And Leonard Hamilton taught me that part. If you look at how he coaches on the sidelines, I would tell you right now I'm probably a mirror image of how I've learned from him.
Dennis, after you did your debrief after Tennessee, I'm just curious, what of the stretch that Major Majak played, what was the most important part, or I guess the most impressive part of the stretch that he played that you saw?
The most important part was what his path has been leading up to that point and how he wasn't afraid of the moment. He played those minutes as if he's played 30 straight games, right? He played those minutes as if, he was preparing for them all along. And you have to be mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared. Mentally, I thought he exuded the level of confidence that I've seen in him early on, but also what I've expected of him. When you look at the physical part, he stayed and remained in shape. He's never come in and not given his very best, whether it's been on scout team or not. And he looks at himself as an integral piece of our program, which he is. I think ultimately he gets that confidence from his teammates. No one has worked as hard as he has, being at the gym early, being at the gym late, after games, wanting to do conditioning if he plays or not, lifting weights after games. Those things matter. And when his number was called, preparation is what he dialed into, the preparation in the scouting report, but the preparation and the work that he did previously leading up to that moment. I just thought he played a stretch of basketball that helped us. Having Kobe Brown out, having Mo foul out, he stepped up. And along the way is by committee. And I've said it all along. You look at what Caleb Brown was able to do at Ole Miss when he subbed in. You look at what Mo Diarry has been able to do in limited minutes, but also extended minutes. You look at Aiden Shaw. You look at every kid on our roster, and it's top to bottom. The only two, and they have done it in their own way, the only two that hadn't impacted games physically has been Jackson Reed, Francois, and Ben Sternberg, but they've impacted games from the sidelines in their own special way as leaders, but also as energy givers.
One last question.
Dennis, just this Auburn team, obviously they're going through tough times, but just as far as winning games, but where are the challenges with Bruce's team?
Well, they're playing at home. That's a tough and adverse environment. First and foremost, they have talent, without a doubt. Historically and tradition-wise, the last 5 years, they've been a very great representation of the top teams in the SEC. They have Final Four residue. Being able to get to that level says a lot. They are very good team. They have a balance of inside play. They have a balance of perimeter play. They have, great athleticism. Across the board, it's a really good team. And Bruce Pearl has done a tremendous job at Auburn. And his teams have replicated year in and year out, unbelievable records and games. So I just think they pose a problem because they're at home, but also they're a very good team logistically.
All right. Thanks, Coach.